porque no fim eu sei que vou tirar. Fala tchau pro seu batom na boca e fala oi pra quem te faz pirar. Se você já tá com a mesma sensação, pode vir, gente, que eu tô um vulcão. Tá descontrolada toda essa tara e não para porque a coisa ficou mara. Vou te ganhar no cansaço, no cansaço, no cansaço. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Colarinha dos amassos, amassos, amassos. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Rafa Gomes, digam no beat. Não perde tempo escolhendo a roupa, porque no fim eu sei que vou tirar. Fala tchau pro seu batom na boca e fala oi pra quem te faz pirar. Se você já tá com a mesma sensação, pode vir, gente, que eu tô um vulcão. Tá descontrolada toda essa tara e não para porque a coisa ficou mara. Vou te ganhar no canto.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition or give any medical or legal advice. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
Well, good evening or morning, depending on your location. From my time zone to your time zone. Hey, tonight we're going to be talking about monsters. We're going to be talking about the beginnings of a series of books that Liz Reader made. Hey, tonight, well, hopefully everything goes through. She's having trouble with her cell phone. We'll be back right after this.
Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give $1 or $2. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, we try, John, we try, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't click. Well, tonight you want to get yourself a nice cup of hot java, maybe some, cocoa with some extra marshmallows. Find that nice comfy spot on that couch, hopefully next to a fire, because we're going to be talking about monsters and a whole bunch of interesting things tonight with Liz Reader. Hey, Liz, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Well, at least you're doing good. You were mentioning before we went on the air, it's all flooded in your area? Wow, I guess it's not working out with her cell phone. So, I guess what I'm going to have to do...
Yeah, can you hear me?
Not really.
Can you hear me?
I can hear parts of what you're saying. I guess it isn't going to work out with her tonight. I am so sorry. Anyway, tonight, James, if you're out there, this is one night you certainly can call in at 1-253-203-6695. That's 1-203-6695. We need to get a conversation going. If we don't get a conversation going, I'm going to have to put a replay on tonight or something. We tried with Liz. That's the problem, I guess, with cell phones in certain areas. That is really, when you think about it, everybody has a cell phone nowadays. And the problem is if you got a cell phone and you're in a location and not a great location, what are you going to do if you ever have a fire or emergency and you go out there and you try calling and you can't get a hold of anybody? That could be really, really scary. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of music. We will be back here shortly, I hope. Yeah, who do we have out there? Okay. It's not working, Liz. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, well, it's working now. Well, I don't know. Let's give it a little try, and if it drops out, then I'm going to have to put a replay on at this point. Are you able to hear me at this point?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, well, see, my voice booms for everything. So you are having floods in your area, I take it.
We are having floods. We had tornadoes a couple nights ago, so it's I thought everything was good as far as cell phone and internet and everything, but apparently it's not.
Well, maybe you're in that sweet spot with your cell phone. Don't move over 2 inches to the right, not to the left, and don't lean forward, whatever you do.
I'm not going to move.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay. For the next hour, pretend you're a statue. Now, a little bit about you. When you got out of high school, how old were you when you decided you wanted to be a paramedic?
I actually was accepted into the EMT program on my 18th birthday. You had to be 18 to be a part of the program, and they accepted me on my birthday.
Oh, wow. I bet that was an exciting moment in your life.
It was. It was exciting, and it was great. I actually had my EMT license before I had a high school diploma.
Oh, wow. Now, how long?
I did both at the same time.
Now, how long was the course to become a paramedic?
At EMT, it is roughly plus all of your ambulance and clinical time.
Okay. So how long were you how long did you do that for, Liz?
I was licensed as an EMT for 10 years. I didn't work at it that much because I became a police officer.
Okay. Now, was that something when you were doing it, you decided you want to become a police officer, or is that something deep down you always wanted to be in law enforcement?
I think I always wanted to be in law enforcement, but then I had this kind of push to do it. Something someone had said to me was just like, all right, I need to do this. I don't want to be 40 years old and regretting that I've never done this.
Oh, wow. Now, again, what year did you go in? Now, I take it you had to go through the academy, correct?
Right.
Now, what was it like when you went going into the academy at your age, being young and being a woman? How were you treated, and what was it like?
It was great. I loved it. I did a 15-week live-in academy in Columbia, and I was treated like the little sister for the most part. Most of the guys in the training were older than me. There were only 4 other women. There were 20 men. So I was very much treated like the little sister or cousin or something. Okay, now when you were in the academy, did you have anybody play practical jokes or anything on you? I really didn't. I don't know if they were afraid to or they just chose not to, but I never really had that happen.
Well, gee, you just wrecked a punchline for me. Yeah, I know talking to
I
other.
know.
I was in law enforcement for a very short period of time. And, I realized back then, what it paid versus my life. I just figured, you know what, this is not really my cup of tea or Java. And I went on to doing broadcasting, and because I got a big mouth. And it was really hard to, I hate to say it, I hated giving people citations. And that was, I was assigned to traffic right off the bat. And, giving people tickets, just kind of, it was like a job I didn't like doing.
Right. I didn't mind doing that. If it was somebody who wasn't from the area, had no previous record of, speeding and a lot of things like that, I would usually just give them a warning and say, hey, you need to slow down. There was a speed limit sign back there. You may have missed it. And a lot of it depended on attitude. If they were, cordial and I'm sorry, I didn't realize the speed limit changed or, whatever, just a warning. But there are a few cases where I did not mind writing that ticket at all.
Like maybe somebody you remembered, like from maybe grade school, junior high school, or high school that you really didn't like?
I moved out of the area from where I grew up, so I didn't have that. One of the first tickets I wrote, when I got out of the academy, apparently while I was in the police academy, there was a big news story about the town that I started working in, writing tickets for nothing. It was basically they were doing a speed trap, which they were not, but that was the accusation. I didn't know anything about it when I went to work there. Knew absolutely nothing. And pulled this guy over. He was doing like 40 or 57 and a 45 or something. I mean, he was well over the speed limit. Pulled him over, originally was just going to probably give him a warning, but he started off with, I know what cops do in this town. And it's like, so I am new here. I don't know what you're talking about. This is why I pulled you over, and, handled it calmly. He was yelling and screaming at me, and it's like, I have no clue what he's talking about. But it was about that news story that happened. It's like, okay, but sir, I'm sorry. I'm having to write you a ticket. You were going 12 miles over the speed limit. Here's how you can handle the ticket. Please sign here to acknowledge that you have received it and that you will take care of it in some manner, and, have a nice day.
And he probably didn't want to sign it.
He did not. The funny part was his wife was sitting next to him in the seat, and she was literally beating him with an empty soda bottle. Stop it, stop it, stop it. She's going to take you to jail. Stop it.
Yeah.
So it was, and I was still on my field training. Like, I was that new out of the academy into this department. So I was laughing at him when we got back in the car, and it's like, I have no idea what he's talking about. And then the officer I was working with fills me in on everything. It's like, oh, okay, that explains it.
Well, that would, I guess, because the news media sometimes kind of, they kind of, well, all I can say is even where I was at, or where I live at nearest, there was a little area, a little township, and I'm talking a township. It was small, but they were noted for the chief of police and their like 4 or 5 officers not being the most reputable, in law enforcement. And they got busted by the state of Washington because they were giving, tickets to people, for no reason at all. And knowing that people would sign for it, because they didn't want to go to jail. Mm-hmm. They kind of like, threaten them kind of type of thing. I remember I only got pulled over twice in my life. And I remember one time I got pulled over and the police officer came up to the window. It was pouring down rain. And he goes, you're going 50 over the speed limit. And I said, you're probably right. But if it wasn't raining, I would be going at least 80 over the speed limit. And he goes, what did you say? I said, well, I look at the weather conditions. It's rainy and it's